Hello everyone, this is Source Codex aka Jazz Fusion Guy. It's time for one of my regular updates on what have I been shopping for, what did I locate, what did I score, and what things did I buy just for resale. And I'll have links in the video for you can find them to buy, and also what is on the way. Those will be at the end of the video. But for right now, let's take a look at what has recently come in within the past few weeks. This is Gong Live Oxford 1976. And I believe Sir Holdsworth is on there. Tony Williams All-Stars Live in Tokyo 1978. Coliseum 2, Birmingham, 1976. This is a 2 CD offering. And if you're into Holdsworth style players, this is Paolo Volpato Group. This is his most recent Metro Noise. And I found this, of all places, on eBay, being sold by a company about 3 hours west of me. Here's another goodie, the Mahavishnu Orchestra Dawn in Buffalo, New York, 1973. This is a 2-disc offering. Now, what did I buy for myself that I already had? Boomerang, the Richard Hallebeek project. And this is sealed with the OBI strip. And later on, you will see my copies that are both mint, and we will see what happens. This is Richard Hallebeek project live in Alphen, sealed with the OBX strip. Now, some of you might say, who's Richard Hallebeek? Well, if you've never heard him, you need to. He plays a mean legato, a lot like Alan Holdsworth, and he leans more to the metal side of things. Reminiscent of Scott McGill's earlier playing with Hand Farm. He is located in Europe. And finding these CDs is really difficult unless you shop for me, because I know how to get them. All right. Last, some of you might say, why did he buy this? Well, this is Tennessee Ernie Ford's Amazing Grace 40 Treasured Hymns. I am a singer, and I like to sing gospel, and Tennessee Ernie Ford has one of the deepest, purest voices when it comes to singing old hymns. I grew up with Tennessee Ernie Ford playing on the record player all day long sometimes while my mother was at home and I was tooling around as a young kid. So he's burrowed into my neural grooves, and I like hearing him. Okay, what else did I buy? For me, 3 p.m. Better late than never. Better Nate than Lever? Whatever. I used to own this with signatures of everybody in the band. And I sold it for a pretty good price to a guy out in California who was tickled to get it. But, I still missed it. And part of the reason I bought it again was I was out for a pizza dinner, and who comes in the door behind me? Bernie Petaway. Looks slightly older than in this picture now when I saw him. But I immediately recognized him and I said, "Bernie." He's like, "Hello?" I told him who I was and how I was a big supporter of them, had a web page dedicated to them, took guitar lessons from John Wheelis. I knew a lot about him, and he was really happy that I came up and recognized him. And he has put out offers to me to contact him and discuss. There is some unreleased stuff by these guys. So maybe he and I can hook up together and get some unreleased 3 p.m. out there for you fusion addicts. Classic stuff from the 1980s. These guys wailed. I mean, they could knock out a Return to Forever song with their eyes closed. And some of you might know Jerry Peake, the bassist, went on to play with Steve Morse band. But we'll keep you posted about that possible release of some 3 p.m. music. Now, what did I buy for resale? Oh, let's get it out here. As always, when I can find it, I will buy Bill Connors for resale. And as always, it gets sold. And people are glad to have it. So whenever I see it, I buy it for resale. Same thing with Allen Holdsworth material. This Blues for Tony, 2 CD release, out of print, pretty rare. I bought it for resale. Now, here's Bill Connors again. Step It again. But this was released out of Germany on the Core Pathfinder label. And here's what I was talking about earlier. Here is Boomerang with Richard Hallebeek, mint condition. You're not going to get it sealed. You're not going to get an OBX strip. But there it is. I'll put a link up. Richard Hallebeek, live in Alphen. If you want some serious legato fusion guitar that's so precise, it's just sweet to listen to, Hallebeek, he's the guy. Now, along with Richie back in the day when he was younger, he used to play with Ante Kodakowski. And this is the old Generator release that has been remastered and for sale. This is not going to show up on eBay. It's on my other live remastered music on Shopify, and I'll give you a link to this. And this is going to be a bargain price because CD1 is basically fair minus, just above acceptable, plays fine. CD2 is a VG minus, it plays fine. But this is a rare 2 CD recording with a lot of big name folks. Stanley Clark, Allen Holdsworth, Steve Smith, Randy Brecker, and B. Wright. I don't know who B. Wright is. Now, when it comes to classical music, this conductor here, I can't pronounce his name, but I'll try. Sergiu Celibidache. This is a hot item. I had these imported from Japan, And the last one I sold internationally for like $80. So here this is, and I was lucky enough to find another copy in Japan, and I bought this as well. I've graded all the CDs. Booklet box is mint, and this particular one, all the CDs are, it's kind of a mix-up between near mint and mint. This one that I showed you earlier, this is the sweeter copy of all of them. 11 CDs are mint, and only one is near mint. And when I'm talking near mint, we're looking at a marring of about 1 to 2 millimeters, and that's it. So I am particular like that. Now, a book I'd been looking for a long time about fusion finally showed up, and I bought myself 2 brand new copies at basically half the price of what I'd seen them listed for years. This is all about John McLaughlin in the 60s and the Emerald Beyond, Bathed in Lightning by Colin Harper. So if you're wanting to look at the early days of John McLaughlin and what he was doing and who he was with and influences and all that good stuff, you have got a book that really burrows down. There's McLaughlin there with Tony Williams. You know, some of you who know stuff know that McLaughlin used to be with Miles Davis. And Miles pretty much said, John, it's time for you to move out on your own, form your own group, and release your own music. And Miles Davis was a big push for John to do that. And in spite of the fact McLaughlin's sound was so different than everything else that was out there, the jazz rock genre was not really popular. But Davis talked to Columbia Records and said, you need to sign this guy. So the rest is history. And I look forward to reading this book. And I think those of you who want to study McLaughlin, you will find this a very interesting book as well. Got a lot of good reviews. I've seen this book listed for upwards of over $90. But fortunately, just recently, I found it for much less than that. So I bought 2, one for me, and this one is up for sale for you guys. Now, the rest of what I have purchased, it is still en route, be it from eBay, Discogs, or from Japan. So let's go look at those. I almost forgot to mention, I bought this really unique little device. It is a MP3, MP4, and pictures player, and it's got a 4-inch screen, and the music you're listening to in the background is streaming Bluetooth from this. I have loaded in it a 256 gigabyte micro SD card. This thing will take up to 512, but it's a really nice piece of equipment. Now, I don't know why, when I look at this, the colors do not match what's on here when I take a video. This is a nice sepia gray color, but in the video that you're looking at now, it looks like a washed out blue. So this screen projects images and videos a lot better than my cell phone camera can pick it up. But anyhow, if you don't want to have to use your phone to stream music to a Bluetooth speaker, you can find this guy on Amazon for not that much money, and it really is laid out nice, works really nice. You got your speaker here if you want to play it without Bluetooth. You got your USB-C charger. You've got your 3.5 millimeter input for headphones. You have got your on and off switch, volume control, and it comes in this really nice plastic protective case. So I actually did a review of this, and I will put a link to the in-depth review of this item in the links below. So now let's go look at the CDs that are on the way. Okay, on the way is Mastermind. This is Bill Behrens. This is his brother. Don't remember his name. I saw these guys play live at a Near Fest prog rock concert in 1999. They play pretty much fusion metal with a little bit of prog rock and a little bit of metal mixed in. More of your, I can't even think of the genre correctly. But I did a write-up of this show for a magazine, and I dubbed the show Prog, Fusion, Metal, Leather, Sweat, and a Blonde. Had a blonde female singer here. Well, Bill contacted me and said, can I use your quote for the name of the album? And I'm going to drop and a Blonde. So, Prog, Fusion, Metal, Leather, and Sweat. That Mastermind release was named after something I came up with off the top of my head. And in the thanks to, my name is in there. All right, moving on to other things and stopping my blowing my own horn. Oh, this is not a guitar. Oh, yes, it is a guitar. This is not a CD. This is a 1960s Kent 820 vintage guitar that usually sells up around 700 to 800. I've seen it more, but this was in great condition, and it was the second guitar I ever owned. I was 18 years old when I bought this for $42 used at a guitar store, and then I sold it eons ago, decades ago. And you know, I've always missed that guitar. So on eBay, I hooked up with this guy and found it, and he gave me a really good deal, and it should arrive just in a couple days. So, you know, the funny thing about the guitar I used to own, I took all the strings off because I didn't like how the frets felt, and I dressed the frets. That means I filed them down until they were low and flat, but I could still get a tone. So it allowed for some quicker runs. And when I went to sell the guitar, the guy at the guitar shop said, "Hey, who dressed your frets?" And I said, "I did." He said, "Are you a luthier?" I said, "No." He said, "You know, you could have ruined this guitar." And I said, "Oh, well, is it good?" He said, "Yeah, you did a great job." So that's just a funny story. So, yes, this guitar helped me to jump back into guitar playing. I had actually tried earlier. I'd bought a Teisco and an amp, but man, I blew. Everybody else in my neighborhood was sailing along, playing in pickup bands, playing at school dances, and I was just left in the shadows. I sold it all, but then I was on vacation and I was listening to some CCR, and there was an acoustic guitar where I was on vacation. I started playing it. I was playing along with CCR. I hadn't forgotten how to play guitar. In fact, I played pretty good for years of not playing. So I knew right then, dude, you're a guitarist. Face it, buy the thing, and move on. And to this day, all these decades later, I am still playing guitar and I love it. So that's on the way. Let's get back to music, CDs, and such. Bloomfield by Koichi Yabori of Fragile fame. This is a great release. I had it on digital for years, so I finally found a hard copy for a very good price. Brand new, sealed with the OBX strip, Brand X missing period. So I'm going to put my personal copy of this for sale. Corrado Rustici, Interfulgent. You know, when I first listened to this release, I thought, I don't think it's that good. However, when I saw Rustici listed in items in my Japan source, I went back on YouTube and I listened to this on YouTube and I said, this is class action fusion guitar, melodic, just beautiful compositions. Now, those of you who don't know who Corrado Rustici is, he was in the famous group Nova, who played some serious fine fusion. And Rustici, he was a follower of Sarai Shinmoi, just like John McLaughlin and Carlos Santana tried that for a while. So they had their heads screwed on pretty much the same way back then. As far as I know, he's not into that now, but I bought this for myself. All right, moving on. Yeah, I bought another Bill Connors Step It. I bought another Chad Wackerman Scream. And I bought this bootleg Freeway Jammin' with Jan, Jeff Beck and the Jan Hammer Group. This is a 2 CD release. And I bought some more Captain Beyond, the Bickershaw Festival 1972 in England. Here's another boot, Alan Holdsworth, 2 CD release, original IOU live tracks. Boy, look at the hairdo on Gary Husband. Steve Morris live in Baden-Baden, Germany, March 1990. What a technician that guy is. Good old DVD. Now, a long, long time ago when I was reviewing music for magazines, websites, labels, artists, whatnot, I had a tribute to Captain Beyond sent to me, and I was amazed at how well all these various bands covered that seminal release by Captain Beyond. I was not happy with Ron Stolt of the Flower Kings, his rendition, his cover of Raging River of Fear. It was just not happening. But anyway, besides that cut, this is a great release. I used to own it, sold it when I was hungry for cash for gear, But now I've purchased it again, and it is staying in the house. All right, Return to Forever, Together Again, live in Japan, 1983. I don't usually buy Return to Forever without Di Meola, but this time I decided to do so because the price was so good. This runs for ungodly amount of money on Amazon and other places, like 40, 50 bucks. I'm like, forget that. So I picked it up cheap in Japan. So let's see now, what's next? Earlier we saw the Mastermind live release. Well, this is Mastermind Excelsior with Bill Barron's, Rich Barron's, his brother, on drums, Bill on guitar, and Jens Johansson. Most people know he played mean keyboards with Malmsteen. But he also did a great album with Alan Holdsworth called Heavy Machinery. But there's a different version of this with a light bulb hanging in front of a sunset. This is a rare Japanese version, which I'm going to keep for myself. I'm probably going to let go my other version. And I bought two of these. One's going to be for resale. And this is a really tight, fusion-y release. If you don't know about it, look into it. Mastermind Excelsior. Okay, I bought another Fragile Zahn. Now, many people don't know about LU7. But the guitarist on there, forgive me, I can't remember his name, but he plays a mean legato like Holdsworth. And his wife or good friend, I don't know. I don't remember if their last names are the same or not. Of course, in today's world, it doesn't matter. But she plays serious good keyboards. So I picked up Benito. I had to listen to it on YouTube, and I said, yeah, I'm going to keep that. Now, I used to own Les Esprits de l'Exil by LU7, but this is a re-release, a remaster. They have revisited it, and I listened to it, and I liked it as well. So it's on the way. And here's the Star Festival, Jeff Beck with Stanley Clarke. 2 CD live release. I may or may not already have this show and some other disc I bought in the past, but we'll see what happens. If I already do, I'll put it up on my rare live remastered fusion CD website. There will be a link in the video to that website down below. There's the other Excelsior. Here's Corrado Rostisi again, Deconstruction of a Postmodern Musician. Alan Holdsworth guests on here, so it's well worth having. I already own it, so this is going up for sale. I tried to buy one off of Amazon a couple days ago, paid for it and everything, then the order got canceled. My guess is one of those companies that just throws everything up there and they don't even know what their inventory is. And then they find out, oops, we don't have that. So then they wind up canceling your order. Thanks a lot. All right, moving on. Yes, I bought another Scream. In fact, I bought 3 of those because I just sold several on eBay, and it's like replenish the stock. This is rare stuff, so get it up. Now, at one time I owned 3 copies of Cab live on Sunset. I have one for myself, and as soon as I uploaded these to eBay, bam, sold. So I'm just putting this up to let folks know it's something that I did buy. I don't know if I mentioned in my last video things purchased for sale, but it is rare. The only other copy of this on eBay, the guy wants 120 bucks. Ah! All right, so here we go. Little teeny video here. This is Fragile's The Sun and the Melodies. Bought a copy of that. And here's Fragile's Poison Quells Poison. I've just sold a couple copies of it lately. And this one comes with the OBX strip, which for some reason to this date, I don't know, but collectors really, really want that piece of paper. All right. Yep, there's the third screen. Here's LU7's 3395. I bought that for me. And then LU7's Azurite Dance. I bought that for me. So now we're back to the top of what's on the way. And I have to say to you guys, I hope you enjoyed the video as much as I'm enjoying my non-alcoholic athletic brewing company Free Wave Hazy IPA. Ciao!